Today we have a very special guest.
Slide on over here.
Oh, we put our glasses on, so we're looking very professional, Miss Randy Stewart. Um,
Oh, good morning. Thank you.
Randy, you are currently just started a brand new business. So tell us a little bit about yourself
Yeah.
and your business.
So my name is Brandy Stewart. Um, During the pandemic, my business that I had been pursuing for about 8 years now came to an abrupt halt, just like everybody else's life. So while I was just sitting around twiddling my thumbs, I was doing a lot of research on different things that I could do just to pass the time because idle hands, idle brains, you know how it can be. You can get down in the dumps, and I didn't want to let that happen. So, um, on my journey of self discovery and renewing some things and figuring out what exactly to do, I came across waist beads again. That was something that I had heard of several times in the past, but it was always connected to a cultural meaning, and don't want to be disrespectful to anyone's culture, but um, and let me just be honest, I'm a big girl. I said I'm not putting on waist beads. I'm look ridiculous. But I saw another young lady. She was a big girl rocking these waist beads. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I can. So I decided to do a little bit of research and try to make one for myself because I also didn't want to spend money on something that would pop, break, just fall apart with me playing around with it, trying to figure it out. So I decided to make one, and then I made two, and then I made about five more for myself. Um, and I started telling people about them, and they were like, "Well, make me one." And I didn't want to do that because I don't want to make something for someone, and then they're like, "Yeah, Brandy talking about some. She making some waist beads, and it's crap, and it's falling apart." So I did it for a couple of people close to me, and they loved them.
So
Um, it gave them a sense of body confidence from, oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
this is one of the
It gave them,
made, right?
it gave them a heightened sense of self from the time they put them on. And I said, people are asking me to make them. I'm buying these materials. Maybe I'll tell a couple people about it and see if they like them. And everybody loved them. I had maybe one incident where they popped on someone, and this is a natural occurrence,
Mhm.
but if it happens really quickly, they can't help but to blame you for something, and I understand that it could possibly be in the craftsmanship. So I'm a perfectionist when it comes to those types of things, so I bought the best beads, the best thread. If I found out later it wasn't for me, I was researching again and buying the best beads and the best thread. So I'm to a point now where I'm really comfortable with my product, and I decided to put it out. Now, mind you, with some anxiety putting this out there because people think what they think, but a part of my journey of self-discovery was not worrying about that. I'm doing this for people to hopefully get the same heightened sense of self-confidence that I got from it. Um, you know, and hopefully um, just appreciate my journey and appreciate what I'm trying to give to them.
Right.
So explain.
And
Is it just a fashion statement, or what? Like, what else do they have other sort of uses?
so it didn't start off as a fashion statement at all. What it was is a part of ceremonies in Africa. So the naming ceremony in Ghana is one of the uses for it. When a baby is named, they give them these waist beads. They're supposed to help protect the child, and it's also supposed to gauge their growth. So if the baby is growing a little too fast, maybe you want to hold back on some of the food, and if they're not growing fast enough, you know that there may be another issue. So teenage girls get them when they go from a child to a woman. And also, there are ceremonies like the wedding ceremony when all the women from different tribes will come and give you these beads. There are also reasons that different tribes wear them. So different colors mean different things. So, for instance, green is about the ground, the earth. And if your tribe is into vegetation, the women may wear green waist beads to let people know if they show them, because some people do, some people don't, but they may wear to let you know that that's what they do in the tribe. They nurture the earth and they grow vegetables, and they provide for themselves that way. So it's many different reasons that we can go on and on. In fact, in Egypt, they did wear it for adornment. It had meaning, but they absolutely showed them. They were big, beautiful, bold gold pieces that they wanted the world to see. So wherever you go, it's different.
Okay.
Now, my purpose was weight management. So I'm on a journey to lose weight. And it's a feeling you get that's like no other when you have your waist beads and they started high on your waist, you're at your natural waist. And then week by week, you see them falling further and further down. That's a really good feeling. It's better than any scale that I've ever stepped on. So.
Okay. So then you would it's once you get it one size, and then you're just hoping, like you're just watching it gradual down. And it's like as you use your weight around your middle gets and it moves down further.
Mm-hmm. Now it can also go up, and that's not really a great sign, or it can pop. And if it's not an instance where you're going to the bathroom, like that client I told you about, they were going to the bathroom and they were kind of low. So she grabbed them and took them down with her undergarments, and that's why they pop. But if they are inching upwards or just getting really tight and on the verge of popping, good and well you're not doing what you set out to do. So you set intentions. It's for a manifestation, and it's a reminder to let you know this is what I'm trying to manifest. And if I'm not doing it the right way, it might not go the right way.
Right. Gotcha. Well, I mean, I've seen the beads. They look gorgeous. I think I have to get
Thank you.
I'm like, it definitely I'm sure, especially with women who've had babies, and you definitely feel very self-conscious around that area. So having might make you feel a little less, less you're conscious of it, but a little more confident about your body.
You make a good point. So it's right there at the womb, and that's your center. So that's another reminder. And like I said, the colors have meaning. So when you're working on something like that, looking at it and seeing these beautiful colors and be like, oh, I remember exactly what that means. So let me work on that. Or you might just have it for adornment, like one of my favorite pieces. I'll show you guys. This is Purple Days. Isn't she lovely? Is she lovely?
Yeah, she is. Just very.
Oh, thank you so much.
Around several times, my waist ain't ever gonna be that tiny.
Well, no. You know what? We're not gonna talk body image in her. She has her own issues, so don't think she's perfect just because she's snatched.
Well, thank you very much for sharing. Of course, your website, you said it's live now. It started. So hopefully we can get you some business, but also that you continue to get some success.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate that.
We're making breakfast together today, right? Or brunch. Yeah. I typically like to make a breakfast one, and I'm not even though we do brunch, I prefer lunch over. But today we're definitely doing a breakfast style. So we're making. I'm gonna have to teach you how to use this guy.
Yeah, I'm kind of out of screen. Hey,
we see your face. Egg, breakfast bread. Now, is it actually ham, egg, and cheese, and peppers, and cream cheese? It's very. It's going to be a very filling meal. I feel it already. So, do we want?
All right.
Direct?
Sure. It's what I do.
Okay. So, Brandy, you pre-prepped as well, correct?
Yes.
All right. So we're all going to start on the same spot, which is filling our braid. So what we made was roughly, I put in an extra egg because it wasn't enough for me. So I had 7 eggs, chopped ham, bell pepper, and half a cup of chive cream cheese. Right? And so we cooked the eggs, cheese, and we cooked the eggs and the ham peppers together, and then we added the cream cheese, and now we got this lovely mixture here.
Looks real congealed.
It is, because it's been sitting for a little bit, because I pre-cooked. But it'll be fine because it's going back into the oven. It's still hot, actually, and it smells really good.
So what are we doing? Spreading everything throughout this?
And let me move this guy down so we can see everyone's faces. All right. So then we also have some Kobe Jack cheese and another egg for our egg wash. So we then got a Pillsbury because I've been staying using Pillsbury for everything. The Pillsbury flaky.
I think Pillsbury come next season.
Yeah, I literally use every session. This like every episode. Like I've been using a Pillsbury product.
I think we should have a Pillsbury endorsement come next season.
I agree.
The crescent rolls and the biscuits, you can use it for so many things. Like, and it's because it's an easy dough. Then they also make the regular dough. But it's like, cause you're like making yeast and all that stuff, and it can be like time consuming. It's a lot easier. Half the work is already done.
That's not my wheelhouse.
No,
I
don't have to wait. And like I still have like a whole thing of yeast still in the fridge that I gotta use in a few months. Otherwise, it's gonna go bad. Buy them in big bulk, and then you can only use like a little teaspoon.
You made the bread.
I know I have to make some bread. Yeah. Whatever.
Now, I'm all about cooking a home cooked meal, but I leave the baking to the experts. No, thank you.
But some baking can be very time consuming. So let me push this aside here real quick so we can see everything. There we go. All right, so we took our crescent roll and we mushed it together so we don't have any of the little perforations or anything. Mm-hmm. Then we have little slits about half an inch, I'd say, down the sides. You leave a little open space there. So now you're going to take your filling and you're going to fill it right in the middle where there are no slits.
So I'm just going straight down.
Go straight on down the middle, sir.
Okay. All right, it's hard to keep it in the middle. But...
As much as you can. It's fine. Okay. Wherever there's a gap, I'll fill it in. Or we'll fill it in.
I'm confident you can do this, Jared.
Really? Really?
It'll be excellent.
And we have a whole nother thing of a crescent roll. We can make extra than usually having it extra. But you can make it a little bit. Yeah, let's make it a little bit.
All right,
yeah, a little space right there. There you go. So how has the business been going since you started and your website went officially live? Was about like 2 weeks ago now?
It's been 1 week, so
okay.
It's been going really, really good. I didn't realize it was going to take off the way it has. And it's not just about purchases, it's about inquiries as well. So I've been answering so many questions. It forced me to get more of an education myself. So I'm enjoying the process. I have a lot of custom orders that I have to get done this week. So I'm going into Monday ready to execute. And it feels really good because you don't expect from something like this to happen just from you trying to do something to better yourself. So
yeah, that's a good amount.
It feels really great. I'm coming up with some giveaways. I'm working on them now, and they'll be coming out hopefully within the next 2 weeks. So look out for us.
More power to you. Starting a business is hard enough, and starting a business in the middle of a pandemic, you're stepping really out on faith there. Yeah. You're stepping out on faith.
It is a faith walk. It's definitely a faith walk.
All right, so
but it's good.
Did you fill yours yet? You put your filling down?
I most certainly did.
Oh, yeah.
All right. They look all right.
Uh-huh.
Mine. Not like mine.
All right.
But...
So now we have our half a cup of cheese. This is not a competition. And we're going to sprinkle the cheese over top of our mixture.
You just said it's not a competition?
It's not a competition. I don't know why you always got to make it a competition.
I don't make it a competition.
Oh, Jerry, let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
Feel like I have no win today.
And you can use all the cheese. I love me some cheese.
Use all the cheese. To use up all the cheese.
Good morning.
That's a good portion of cheese.
Listen, it ain't easy being cheesy.
Oh.
Wow.
I grew up on that. It ain't easy being cheesy.
All right.
He's
still working on that shit. Look, Brandy done. So
you
be losing. He's behind.
It's a technique with the cheese. Brandy just took her cheese and was just like splat. It's a technique. I gotta go.
No, I did it.
with the technique.
No, I didn't.
Gotta go like,
Welcome to the show, Al.
hey, what's up, Al? What's going on? Wow,
Oh, be careful. Okay, so now we're going to
Hey, Al.
our braiding technique. So what I'm gonna do the first couple ones for you, okay? So what you're gonna do is take one of these strips, lay it right over. I want to actually braid. They just fluked them over like in the original recipe I saw. They just laid them like this. I'm gonna actually a braid like this because I think that just looks.
So you just gonna get really?
All you're doing is folding it over, baby. I'm gonna do a couple more for you. Okay. Bam.
Jared, I'm confident that you'll do a wonderful braid.
I'm not a braid.
Now remember, this is not a competition, okay? Remember that as you braid your braid.
Okay.
Now, I feel like I probably made some a little bit smaller than I would have preferred. But I'm not like a perfect like
braider
cutter all the time. I like for me, it's like when people call for uniform cutting or uniform anything like like if I don't have a stencil, then I'm doing that stuff on my own. Like
I feel like I might have added too much. Like
it is a lot. It is a lot in there. It's going to. I feel like we're definitely going to have a massive amount.
You know, I think that we're on the same page there, and that's all right. Because I'm looking like, my braid really isn't reaching quite to the middle, but
we prefer filling. Now the thing is, like, it is pressing, like so, the dough is going to rise a bit and puff up, but you gotta first get it over the top to get there, so it will still put. How you doing over there, sir?
I'm doing.
How's yours coming along, Brandy? You almost there? We're about halfway. It's actually pretty long. Ours is pretty long.
Yeah, I made kind of a personal
braid.
A personal braid, so.
That tore a little bit.
It's okay. We're lucky with dough. You can just put it back together, lay it over top if you have to.
Wow, I'm so glad this isn't a competition.
We still on? We still on that?
Would you like some help?
Huh?
Would you like?
No, I'm good for right now. I'll tell you what. I mess up one more. Like I'm gonna just go ahead and sit down and Listen, I'm gonna throw in the towel. Like I ain't no shame in my game.
No, don't throw in the towel.
I'm throwing the towel. Or yeah, you're right. I'm gonna say forget these flips. And I'm just gonna flip it all in.
Oh, you gonna have a scramble instead of a braid?
We gonna have something.
It's just gonna be ribbed with little lines on it.
That works.
That'll work. It'll taste the same. You know, it's a lot of food that's delicious that doesn't really look delicious.
It doesn't have to be pretty, right? It just got
right.
If it's edible, that's all that matters.
Here we go. We're almost there.
All right.
Got about 7 more to do. Little strips.
I had a little tear down here. Let me put that all together.
Let me see. A cocktail would be nice right
Y'all
now.
just enjoying this. Y'all are just enjoying this. It's all good though. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay. Look, you got a little cheerleader.
Oh, what happened?
You are doing fine, my mom.
Thank you.
Yeah, whatever. You do anything, she'd be like, "Oh, you're great."
Don't hate because I'm awesome.
We're almost there. We're down to the last 3. And actually,
that's all right. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon.
Yeah.
Listen, the turtle always won the race against the rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might want to fold those upwards. That way they'll make a little pocket for the bottom there. Because we got a lot of stuff. The last one.
There you go.
There you go. Good job. Look at that.
Nina, you are a wonderful coach.
Thank you, baby.
And that looks great.
All the prep, too. He did, I wonder what would happen. I just said, here are the ingredients. Make it work. All right, so you got your egg wash.
Really? I'm standing right here. I'm standing right here.
So you got our single eggs.
You know what? Nope. I completely forgot it.
Egg wash, and then we do poppy seeds on top. And speaking of which, I think I have to open up the poppy seeds.
See, look, you slipping. You ain't even had a poppy seeds open.
Sir, do your egg wash. Mind your business. Open up the egg wash. Do the egg wash. You're trying to start stuff.
So demanding.
Now I won't tell a lie. If this was a competition right now, Jared, you'd be winning because I forgot to make my egg wash.
See, haha.
So you get the egg wash. The thing is, like, for the egg wash, it's just the egg. It's just a beat egg.
Just the egg.
There you go. We're getting there. He's like, he's so.
Listen,
Like he painting a picture.
Look, this is exactly how I do my ribs. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Look,
my ribs.
Oh, these ribs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're not talking about ribs today.
My ribs that you love. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when I do egg wash, I'm reckless. I'm like, it be getting on everything. Like, but at least it's completely covered.
Well, this is nice to see. I do know that you're an outside cook, Jared. So it's nice to see you in the kitchen.
We are on episode 7? I've been saying that since the very first episode. I am an outdoor guy. I'm a griller, not an indoor chef.
Okay, that means so.
That's all right. You're making it look good.
Brunch. Sometime we're gonna do brunch outside, and he's gonna be grilling. And I'll be chilling.
Oh, you don't want.
We can switch it up. Him on the grill and me.
You don't want those problems because as soon as we go back to the kitchen, they're gonna be like, "Oh, bring Jared back. We need to go back." That's him. I'm telling you.
Now, don't get hasty.
He getting ahead of himself. So.
Listen, outdoor grilling. I'm a savage. And cue Megan Thee Stallion music.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, wow.
How are we with our... This thing is very long.
I see.
We about to feed a whole tribe with this one, yeah.
Listen, this is about to be my breakfast for work in the morning.
That's good.
It does come in handy. Like, you can cut it up and then wrap it up and freeze it and then, like, as a little baby breakfast.
I think we're good to go.
Yeah, okay, so get your poppy seeds.
On the edges here, just in case I missed the little edges up in there.
You missed a spot.
You ain't gotta tell me I missed a spot. That's why I'm going over it right now. You missed a spot. I'll tell you, smart people.
What do you say all the time? Isn't that why you married me?
I don't remember saying that.
Well, you say it to me.
Do I?
Yes, you do. You be saying I'm the reason why I married you is because you be a smart mouth.
Yeah, don't front. You fronting just because you missed the spot. It's all right. You went back over it.
Pick a side. Whose side you on?
Both of you.
She's on the truth side.
It doesn't work that way. Does not work that way.
Go a little light. I'm not really a huge fan of poppy seeds. I never like.
I'm not putting a lot of poppy seeds on here. I'm just making sure I get enough.
Yeah, I'm a sesame seed girl.
I think I prefer sesame seeds too. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's also it's the look of it. Okay, so we preheated our oven to 350, and now we're gonna put this guy right there on the center rack on our baking sheet.
Oh, the heat.
Yeah, so you just want to put it in the pattern right there. Like that.
Just like this?
Just like that.
All right, let's go.
And then we're going to wait. It's probably going to take about 15, 20 minutes, roughly, depending on... Wait until our pastry gets good and brown. Good and brown. All right, sir. Where's our drinks?
Oh, yes, drinks.
A second.
How could I forget?
I got to clean up the mess that you made earlier a little bit before I...
Okay.
You got egg wash all over the place.
Okay, that's fine. I'll lick us going.
Yeah, lick us. All right, so
you ready? Come on, get in the center here. Get in the center here. Since Brandy got on and said, okay, she said challenge.
All right, so
and she made hers frozen.
So we blend in today. Thanks to our guest Brandy, who decided
we're blending. I didn't know we were blending.
decided to make her drink frozen. So I had to rise to the challenge, step up, and make mine frozen.
Now, Brandy, did you use actual wine rosé?
See, and that's the problem. I didn't come here for a challenge. The only thing I blended was the strawberries in the ice to make sorbet. But Jared, you're taking it to another level.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just going to blend the sorbet. That's all, and the raspberries, and a couple raspberries.
Yes, because we're not doing strawberries.
Yeah. So we're not doing strawberries. Brandy's doing strawberries because she doesn't like raspberries. We're doing raspberries because My wife's allergic to strawberries. So vice versa. Can you grab me some?
We don't need sorbet too.
So
you got ice.
Grab me a little bit of sorbet.
Oh my goodness.
Please, thank you. She's trying to tell me how. I didn't tell her how to do the hair.
You're being extra. I only did this because
I'm not.
sorbet.
Sorbet didn't come from, like, why are you adding sorbet on top?
Just a little bit.
You're adding sorbet to the sorbet that you're making.
Exactly.
So you're making sorbet? What are you doing?
I do understand what sorbet is. Can y'all let me make my drink? I don't see the tipsy bartender people like behind the camera questioning him. Like
whatever.
Himself.
He don't need it.
So I'm using. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm using what I had in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I have more frozen strawberries
mm-hmm.
that I'm probably going to put in the blender as well since we're blending. 151 Puerto Rican drum.
What?
Drum. No, I said Puerto Rican drum. I'm not drinking already. I just have this because it's in the house. So this is what we're using. And I'm doing the sparkling strawberry daiquiri, the Welch's sparkling strawberry daiquiri.
Okay, so we doing our own hodgepodge thing. Like, that's what sangria is, literally just like a hodgepodge.
Right.
So we doing our own thing. Because
I didn't hear about the raspberry rosé, but I would probably try that because it's a drink. What I don't like about the raspberry. You gotta love them. But what I was saying is I don't like raspberry because of the seeds. The taste is fine. It's the seeds that drive me crazy.
Yeah. Well, and then like we mixing the wine and the vodka seemed a little bit much for us, so we're using. So we're using sparkling rosé from Welch's, the non-alcoholic kind. Let's see how. Are we done? We good now?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. We got our.
All right.
He used our ice, so it's frozen now. Let me get my because I like my straws.
Give me your straws.
Do you want a straw, sir?
I don't need a straw.
Then you don't need no straw then.
All right, so you're using 151, so I'm using vodka. I love this vodka because of its name, Rain. Yes, I'm using Rain vodka.
Well, I love Rain because Rain is one of those vodkas that you can mix without spending a whole lot of money. And a lot of times people don't feel the pain when they're drinking a mixed drink, so you can overindulge. And you don't wake up with a hangover with Rain in the morning. Not that I know anything about that. I'm just telling you. If you're making a mixer, use Rain.
Well, I just like Rain vodka because it's Rain vodka. His name is named after one of my favorite DJs.
Oh my goodness.
He aight.
That guy DJ Rain is a great DJ sometimes.
So this you putting the Rain at the bottom and then that's an interesting combo. I thought you would have just poured it right in.
No.
So what are we doing? He put the Rain in and then he put the
Yes.
sorbet on top of it?
Yes.
See, I think we should switch roles. I really do. Like, am I gonna stir this a bit? Like,
yeah, you want to stir that?
Do we want to toss in a couple of?
And I'm not gonna go heavy because I
haven't
started my day yet, and 151 can end it quickly.
I don't know how I feel about this, sir. I really don't. I think I probably would have preferred it not be blended.
You would have preferred it over ice?
Yeah, I think I would have preferred it over ice. Just the look of it, because I like my drinks pretty. Oh, they're still
right.
Yeah, we're not even done. Like, come on.
Are we gonna have like a garnish or something?
All right, so you have lemon juice.
What you want to do is let me go ahead. Put that out there. stir up in there. Stir it up really good. Alright. Stir it up really good.
Just let me know when I can drink.
See, it's no longer a frozen drink.
It's still frozen. It's still frozen.
After you pour the juice, it's still frozen?
Yeah.
Let's see.
And that is good. That's tasty.
It tastes very similar to the other drink we had.
Because of the rosé.
No, I think this is the sorbet you added.
I think it's because of the rosé.
Okay.
This was a good call.
It's still a good drink. I mean, honestly, you add liquor to just about anything. It's cheap.
Well, Gina, I won't agree.
Yes, Miss Lady with a smoothie adding in.
Oh, you talking about my wine smoothie?
Yes, wine smoothie.
Well, Gina, as you know, I'm on a journey. So if I'm going to have empty calories, they have to be somewhat beneficial on the back end.
I think it's just merging it together. That way you don't feel as guilty, right?
That's right.
I think that is.
This is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, technically, she got a different drink than we got.
I mean, she just has a strawberry flavor. We have a raspberry flavor.
And she got that rum up in there.
After I was questioned,
tomato.
Questioned like a dozen million times on my drink recipe, but it's okay. Yes, a dozen million.
Who?
I think he's talking about moi.
Oh.
He's talking about moi. All right, so let's get into some of these topics.
Yes, because I'm tired of being the topic. I said it.
Okay. Sharon Osbourne and her the talk. We're still waiting to see whether or not they're going to come back from hiatus.
They are, just without Sharon Osbourne.
So the incident happened when they were talking about Piers Morgan again. And they wanted Sharon Osbourne to revisit, her stance on defending Piers. And it just degraded from there, right? What's insane is she ended up having a full-on meltdown about being called a racist because she's defending Piers. And her friends, supposedly, they say that they're friends, but friends is such a, when it comes to the Hollywood types, it's
all things are relative.
Sherry Underwood was trying to explain to her why he's racist, and she was literally cutting her off at the pass every time. She's like, show me where he's racist. Educate me was the big thing that she kept saying. And this caused like a firestorm, and now she feels she was set up by producers, set up by executives. That's what she said in another interview. And Sharon Underwood seems to be paying her dust still, even though they're friends. And now there's a chance that Sharon Osbourne may not come back. They decided to take an extended hiatus while they research, and now all this stuff has come out about Sharon and her racist tendencies and behaviors over the years.
Do we need Sharon?
I didn't think we needed her from the door.
Nobody knew who Sharon Osbourne was until the Ozzy Osbourne show.
That's true, and it was a show where they didn't particularly come off like the Cosby Show, or they didn't really have this.
They were cussing.
Hey, look at us! We're a great example vibe going on. So,
yeah,
I'm not surprised that she had this meltdown. I'm not surprised by the meltdown, but I think being on the show as long as she's been on the show and not having a moment of, oh, so you may be. She did really, really, really well. So I don't know if this is her being a sympathizer of her friend or if she really has an issue with race. I'm not really sure about that. I think she's playing the victim, and instead of playing the victim, she should own what she said and how she said it. And it wasn't the right way to do that. But I'm not quite sure if she's just like a blatant racist that was hiding it all these years. Well, because sometimes it comes out in glimpses. I don't know.
I think even as a whole, like a lot of us need to sort of understand racism in its full, because I think especially for white people, when they think of racism, they think of KKK, they think of Confederate flags. Some of them do,
right?
Lynchings and cross burnings. But racism, it's ingrained It's ingrained in every aspect of life, and the way it comes even down to who you prefer to be with. You know,
Right.
like you don't want to admit it, but it's a bias, but it's a racial bias that plays in a lot of the things that we do. And the fact is, her behavior was racist in that context. Her yelling
At Sherry, right.
at black people to
At Cheryl, rather.
explain to her how she's been racist when they didn't even accuse her of being racist. When her expecting them to educate her on how she is racist when she could literally pick up a book, you know.
Right.
This woman's not poor. She has the means to find out and educate herself. I'm pretty sure she could literally hire any person to educate her on. She can go to school. She can do a ton of things. But she's putting the onus on the black women on the show to explain why she is racist. Like, why is that expected? Like, that wouldn't happen for any other issue. Like, if you're drunk, if you're an alcoholic, you're gonna tell someone, educate me, tell me how I'm an alcoholic. Like, no. Like,
I mean, we know some people who do that, but the fact is, just own it. You are, you are, but you're like, you can't prove it because you've been hiding it all this time, and you thought you were hiding it so well.
I think
that when it finally does come out,
the hardest part, I think, is for people to admit that they are racist, and that the most white people probably have some racist tendency. They just don't realize it, and that's we all play a part in white supremacy. All of us. Mm-hmm. Now, some of us have been we've all been conditioned to help play our role. And until we admit that part, then the work can't happen. The change can't happen. And it's very hard for white people to take that ownership. That even though they're just living their life and they think they're good people, that they have played a role in racism and they continue to play a role in racism. And that's scary for them. So then they come into attack mode and victim mode. And then they're crying. Don't you cry about the racism that your people have.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Years. Because I'm a victim right now because of what I've already done. You know?
Mm-hmm. Like that. And I was reading something earlier that said we don't need allies, we need action.
We need action. We need actors. I feel for you. Like, no, I need you to. It's not about saying that you're not racist. You have to be anti-racist, which means
you have to be anti-racist.
It's an act. You have to physically do things to affect change. You just
absolutely
live your life. And that's a responsibility that a lot of people don't want to carry. Mm-hmm. That they just want to be able, as long as I'm a good person, I'm not racist. I'm like,
right, I'm not doing anything to anybody. I'm minding my business, so I'm fine. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest issue. And she's said herself, she's 68 years old. She ain't gonna change.
No, she's not. And the crazy thing about it, this is not even career suicide. Mm-mm. It's not. Even if she doesn't come back to the talk, she'll go somewhere else and she'll have a comfortable job until she's ready to retire.
The same thing for Piers Morgan. That man, he was told in his face the reason why he's been attacking this woman, and it's because of personal issues. Mm-hmm. He has a personal issue with her, and because of racism, they have allowed him to go on this tirade continually for years. And people don't even realize, it's not even just him being racist, it's the whole system of allowing him to behave in such a way that is completely contrary to appropriate human behavior. If she were white, they would not let that man attack her consistently on a daily basis for no reason. They would call him what he is a misogynist and a pig. But because it's a black woman who's people already have issues with, mm-hmm. they let him go on for this for years. And the only reason why he isn't on the show is because he walked off.
Right. He'd probably still be there, but I appreciate the way Cheryl Underwood handled it. Even when she did interviews and people were saying, she's racist, she's a racist. I appreciate that she took the high road. She spoke her truth. She didn't bash her. She spoke the facts, but she didn't bash her. So I think that the support that she's getting and the people who are just behind this issue and making sure it stays an issue and they don't just say, oh, let's just go on hiatus. And when they come back, she'll have this grand apology that she absolutely did not give to Cheryl Underwood. And then everything will be fine. But the people are not going to allow that to happen this time. So I'm happy that we're in a day and age where it doesn't just get swept under the rug. You take a break and then everything's fine.
Yeah. Oh, we have a comment. An old video clip showed Sharon stating that Megan was not really black because she didn't look black. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Oh. Wow. No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw that clip. Yeah, but it's this idea that if you don't present as black, you're not black. But let's be honest, like white people making the determination about what is black has always been our issue.
And so again, what does that say about Sharon Osbourne?
You know, but she there's tons of clips. She said things that were problematic, bordering on racist. It wasn't until she had a full on meltdown and then decided she didn't know if she wanted to be back at the show that now it's this issue. They would have probably come right back on the show. She didn't have no issue and she'd just let it go.
And of course they would have.
You know. Woo, we'll see. I didn't watch that show anyway.
We'll see what happens. And I didn't watch it. They probably got a whole lot of ratings. People were ready to give them ratings until they found out it was a hiatus. Did they air after that?
They have not.
Since that, they have not. Okay, so right after that, they took the show.
I mean, they could throw the whole show in the trash. Wouldn't nobody miss it? I mean, in my opinion, the talk and what was the other one? The Real and like they were all just.
They have View. The View.
Well, the View was the View.
Well, no, the View. I would have loved to see Whoopi Goldberg on the other side of that tirade. I would have loved to see that.
Well, but they let Meghan McCain go off on those kind of tirades all the time.
Yeah, they do, but it's like, all right, look.
But Whoopi be putting her in let's move on. Whoopi be putting her in a place real quick.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, then you also I feel bad for Sharon because, like, yeah, she did have to compose herself and maintain the role. But it's like, because if she had it would have been a completely different story.
Right. The narrative would have been completely on her going off.
And that's
her being out of control.
Yeah, and that's a shame that it's consistently, like, we have to show additional restraint, you know? And if she, like, and then Sharon comes back out as the victim. Oh, they took advantage of me. They played. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's like, but black women are consistently having to play this role, like, okay, I have to additionally control myself, even though I am the one who's being attacked, you know?
Yeah, and unfortunately, in order for her to get to a place where she can kind of do and say whatever she wants to do and say, she kind of has to play that, and it is sad. So hopefully we'll get there. I see us turning a corner. So hopefully we'll get to the place where you see a lot of black women on these platforms just letting it out exactly the way it is and not having to worry about who's coming for them.
Yeah. So, like, since we're on, like, the celebrity tirade situation, let's talk about Mr. Kirk Franklin and Mr. Ricky Smiley. So Kirk Franklin was put on blast, like, sometime, like, last week or so with his having, like, his son recorded, his adult son, who's in, like, his 30s, like, recorded parts of a conversation where Kirk was cussing and yelling and threatening violence against him. And, you know, since that statement, that the video came out, tons of people have been coming out to support Kirk. Of course, among those people to support them aren't people that I would want to call on to support, but hey, you know, it is. Steve Harvey came to help, spoken out in support, and they also, Kirk Franklin went on this, was a Tamara Hill show, and they spoke for the first time about it. And then Ricky Smiley went on his show and made his little, like, pulpit conversation about how we're supposed to let go of our kids, you know, once they become adults, so we can shut them out and not talk to them. What are your thoughts? What do you think about it? Him going on that. It was like a good, like, 10 minutes where he was talking about, you know, if your children don't appreciate the things you gave them, then you have every right to cut them off and never talk to them again and not give them the grace of, and it's like he was talking in reference to Kirk, and he started saying they don't have the pleasure to be in your amazing presence or something, like, oh, so Kirk Franklin is a great person who deserves, like, come on, like, let's not.
Ricky Smiley was all over the place, and then he went on to say, he talked about the parents that, you know, weren't here, and obviously people should think about things like that when they're dealing with their parents. But he went on to the cousins and the uncles who don't need to be on in your presence. And I'm like, let's try to stay on topic here for just a moment. But it was a tirade, and I understand maybe he might have had some children who were ungrateful, and he put himself in that position. Then he thought about some other family members. But all in all, I agree that you don't have to put up with a whole lot of nonsense from anybody if you don't feel you need to. If they're toxic or whatever the case in your life, maybe you should think about distancing yourself. But it's very difficult, especially I think in the Black community, to say, all right, you're 18, go about your business anyway. That's not something that we really typically do. But I also think if this child is treating you a certain way, not mentally, obviously not there, because something's going on with this guy, but if they're not treating you right, maybe you do need to cut them off to a certain extent. Now, I don't know many people who just decide they're never speaking to their children again. I don't know them. They may be out there, but I think this situation, Kirk Franklin understands obviously more than we do what's going on with his son. He knows that it's been an ongoing problem. He said that. And I think that people who are coming to his defense as if this is a spoiled child who just needs to be taught a lesson. But there's a mental situation here that needs to be addressed. Yeah. So Kirk Franklin, leaving him alone or cutting him off or not being in his life is not necessarily the right answer if you want him to get help.
Well, and if the narrative is the fact that his son has mental issues and that's why he behaves in a way that's disrespectful and contrary, then explain his response. It's like, if you know that someone is sick, if you know that they have issues, why are you going to engage in that manner? And the fact,
we all have a breaking point. We all have a breaking point.
I don't believe that's the first time that Kirk Franklin has said those things.
It's probably.
It does not feel like it was just a one-off.
You're getting at the thing that Kirk Franklin isn't a saint. He more than likely isn't. Just because,
no, he's not.
You go to church every Sunday. You could practice. You can preach the gospel. But at the end of the day, nobody's perfect.
Well, and I think that's the problem, because I feel like, sorry, Brandy.
Go ahead.
I feel like the people are more worried about the cussing, and they don't acknowledge the fact that he threatened to beat his ass. Sorry, but he threatened to fight. He threatened to assault him, and that language is what disturbed me. He could have said every F-bomb and he said every word he wanted to, but when he was threatening physical violence, to me, that is beyond a step out of character. That is abusive behavior.
That was
that for me was.
I think it depends on your upbringing, because somebody telling me they're gonna beat my egg, especially if it was a parent saying they're gonna beat somebody's egg, I was like, all right, they probably will. But you're thinking about it from a place where we got spankings, and let me just tell you, if my mom wasn't the saint that I think she is, I'd probably be walking around here with all types of brands and everything if I was still here. Honestly, she's a saint, and it's not just because she's my mom. She really is a saint. And I needed my butt beat, but that's the old school thinking. That's just where we come from. We come from an era where you got a spanking.
But I think spanking also gives you the idea that you deserve to get beat for your behaviors, because
I think that's.
I also thought
it speaks to me as a person, because I don't think I deserve to be spanked. I don't think that I'm out here in the world deserving of anybody to come and say you've been bad and actually do that. I think that it has a lot to do with your mental capacity. So for me, as a child who, I was interesting. I was a really interesting child, and my mother was a saint. I can't say it enough. But there are some parents who, there's a fine line, I guess, between abuse and discipline. And some people are proverbial line crossers and steppers and whatever. And, you feel sorry for some children, especially if they're not deserving of any type of discipline. You can ask your parent for something and they just snap on you. Yeah. Some people live that type of a life. But as far as him telling him, I'm gonna beat you, that wasn't as alarming to me as some of the other things that happened in the conversation, because that's the type of language that we heard coming up. You heard, I'm going to do such and such. And usually if I was in a department store or something displaying terrible behavior, and my mom told me she was going to get me or whatever the case, there was some people that were like, because she needs such and such. And there were some people that were like, oh my God. So I think it depends on how you were raised. Now, I don't think that spankings are an effective type of punishment. I had weekends of contemplation and they killed me.
Yeah.
And you get a spanking and then 5 minutes later you're over it. And unless you're being punished and can't watch TV, you forget about it and go back to whatever that behavior was. So my weekends of contemplation and, just taking the things away from me that I really love, that was more effective in my later years, when I wanted to do things with my friends and I couldn't because I was stuck in my room with a bunch of books that I didn't want to read.
Yeah,
but I had no other entertainment.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
That I can agree with you on that one. I mean, someone like, I had, my mom had both forms of discipline or whatever. And probably when I was a young kid, if you asked me whatever, oh, do you think you deserve to get beatings or whatever? Like, asking my younger self, I'd be like, no, I didn't deserve to get beat. Like, she beat me because she wanted to. But then, growing up and in your memory bank, you start to think back to some of the things you did as a kid. And like, I'll be honest, like I sit back and think like, why the hell did I do that? Like, that was trifling. Like, I as a kid, I did some trifling stuff, and that's because I did things, without thinking about it.
Because your brain is underdeveloped.
But well, I mean, as a kid, I'm talking about like as maybe 8, 9, 10. Like.
And I'm saying your brain is underdeveloped. You don't have the same reasoning abilities that an adult.
But I will say when it came and a lot of the times, like, it was me talking back. As far as when I got popped or whatever, it was me talking back. And as a kid with a single growing up, single parent home or whatever, it's just my mom or whatever. No father, whatever. So, that was more than likely this talking back. I think was me growing up as a kid, just getting smart. Like, my mom was feeling as I got older, I was feeling myself more and more as a man or whatever. So I got popped for talking back. But when I actually did something like wrong or whatever, like punishments was a bitch. I'm not gonna. Like it, and it was more effective. Like you said, it was more effective than getting popped because I remember several punishments growing up. Like I was sick, like not being able to watch TV, not being able to play toys. Like I used to be this little kid that used to hear and then you upstairs and everybody's downstairs watching TV, so you can hear shows on TV, and you're just like, really? Like I remember, like I would peek through the railing just to try to watch TV, but like,
desperate times call for desperate.
They watch Family Matters, like, I'm missing this. You want punishment on a Friday, then a Saturday, and then it's like it was more effective.
Look, we were my uncle left the Navy to help take care of us when my mom had to go out to sea when she had to do sea duty, and he never hit us. Like his form of punishment was to sit down at the dining room table and get his lecture. And his lecture would last anywhere between an hour to 3 hours, depending on how upset he was about what behavior you embodied. And then, like you talking about, he gave you the existence of time and space in his whole punishment. Like that did it for me. Like sitting 2 hours in at a dining room table, listening to this man talk about everything under the sun was enough to make me, okay, I'm not doing that no more. You didn't have to raise a hand to me. Give me that will literally last 5 minutes because they get winded, like, and then let me.
And that's how I felt about punishments. Like it was like, oh, you're in punishment for a week, but just beat me, like pull up.
Yeah, just beat me and get it over with. But that you have to know your child. You have to know your child because Gina, that wouldn't work for me. That wouldn't have worked for me because the lecture would have went on and on and on, and I'd have been singing every song I could think of in my head. She'd have been like, "Do you hear me?" I'd have been sick. I'd have had a whole concert in my head. That wouldn't have worked for me. So you do have to know your audience.
Yeah. Well, listening to a classic Uncle David 2-hour tirade speech like that would definitely do it to you. That 10-year-old me was not into that at all.
Now my mom, one thing she did, and it
started to catch.
Let's look. One thing my mom did to me, and it really worked, is she would ignore me. I love to talk. She wouldn't talk back. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, you don't hear me talking to you? But I'm talking to you. That was the worst.
Oh, that was beautiful. Let's hide this guy here.
Oh, you want to see mine?
Oh shoot.
Where are we? There we are.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
That is a cute little personal one.
All right. Okay.
It is.
Get some plates for us. I feel like we need a whole episode just on Black parenting because I signed us up for this course, this workshop from this young lady. Her name is Supernova Mom. She has 2 daughters. She's Black mom, 2 daughters who are neurodivergent, which means they're on the autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
She has been actively trying to sort of help Black parents in the way in which we parent our children. Her goal is to really get to where we're not passing on generations. Because I think a lot of times that we think about being as just it's just a thing that we do. But when you start to look at it in a historical context, like start looking at the reason why we beat our children, because one, it was an introduction into slavery. The fact of the matter is, we were beat as slaves to train us into behaving. When women would have children, they would beat their kids before the slave master would. So then that would, and you're talking about training, like any mild thing becomes a reason to beat your kid because you're
right.
Save them from what could be worse. And then we've passed that on, and we've sort of accepted that as acceptable behavior. And what's crazy is even the whole act of colonization, when you do research, is like when missionaries who came to Africa, they they taught the process of corporal punishment to the students that were in the missionary schools. So now, in Africa, corporal punishment wasn't a normal part of the way in which they raised their children.
Right.
So if you start looking at it in a larger historical context, and you start to wonder if maybe these behaviors are something that not necessarily things we would naturally do with our children, but things that we've been taught over generations as a part of the system of racism and white supremacy.
And it makes sense.
And then when you start thinking about something like, it's crazy because we have a lot of different conversations, and racism always comes back out. But I think you start to realize that it's literally in every part of American society.
Mm-hmm. Like
you can't live in a way where you don't discuss it because it's.
Well, I believe exactly what you're saying because one of my favorite things, and it's crazy to say it, came out of slavery and it's a part of our heritage as American Black people. The food, they were given the scraps in order to survive. And the craziest part is I love neck bones. I love black eyed peas and any type of peas or beans, really. I love the food that came from the slavery era. And so I can believe that a lot of our behaviors and a lot of the way that we operate as people come from being slaves, or families, our ancestors being slaves.
Like you can't.
Now that was a way to survive, so I kind of look at it like that, like, oh, it's not a bad thing because that is how our people survive. But knowing that makes it believable that.
If you can see it. Ooh.
Now, how you want to distract me with food? Knowing that it's believable that.
Which we see.
It's ingrained in who we are, and it's going to take a long time and a lot of work for us to undo the toxic behaviors that came from that. So let me get into this real quick.
It does, though. Yes, you're talking about hundreds of years. It's going to take us a long time to identify and address them. Oh my.
Yes.
God. Good go. And I'm not. Yeah, I don't like breakfast that much. It's the flaky crust.
Now we're on air and somebody in the background talking about, I want these.
All right, let me catch up on some of these comments here. Oh yeah, my mom reminded me watching C-SPAN when you argued over the TV. So me and my brothers and sisters would get into arguments over the television, and my uncle there was like, "Okay, well, y'all can't decide what we watch. We're gonna watch what I want to watch." And usually that was C-SPAN.
What was it?
C-SPAN. When they C-SPAN, they show the hearings like Congress and all that, and sometimes and like back in the day, now they fill it up with more stuff, but back in the day it would just be the chamber, like the chamber of Congress, like just sitting there empty.
No, thank you.
That is not fun TV to watch. Oh my god, this is really good.
Let's see.
That is good.
Alright, so we don't have a ton of time. We might run over a little bit, but I'm gonna creep that.
We did. All right, let's
we're talking about time.
Let's do Snyder.
Yeah, so you're talking about like.
Let's wrap it up with Snyder.
Oh yeah.
This is pretty good.
It is pretty good.
So Brandy, did you have a chance to watch the 18-hour-long Zack Snyder?
Oh my god. Now let me preface this by saying I am a Marvel fan and ain't nothing you could do about it. People have tested, oh, you're not a real fan. You just saying, no, I'm a Marvel fan. I could probably pass any trivia test. I don't typically like DC. I think that the fight scenes for me are like, oh god, can this get any more slow? And so it was 4 hours long.
Yes.
And it took everything in me to keep myself awake to watch it. But it wasn't because it wasn't action packed. And I paid close attention to the fight scenes and I liked it.
So did you see the original, the Josh Whedon cut?
I did see the original.
What did you think in comparison?
I think that this was darker, less comical.
Yeah,
I appreciated
at times, right? I felt like
it again.
I felt Josh Whedon's felt goofy at times. Like
yeah, it was quite. I didn't think it was a great movie. Now I like Superman, but I like the original Superman. So because they tried so many times, it was like, all right, just give it up. But I like Henry Cavill a little bit.
I like him a lot.
A little bit.
I like him a lot of bit.
I like looking at him. I'm not gonna lie. I like Wonder Woman, and my favorite draw is my husband. In my head, Jason Momoa. It's quite unhealthy, but it's mine, so I own it.
Here we go. Don't make Denise Huxtable come after you.
You better stay where she is. But I like it. I just like it. I'm not jumping from Marvel to DC. I'm very much into Marvel, but I couldn't watch it again because it was way too long. But I appreciated it.
Well, I was reading. I was like, apparently it was supposed to be a miniseries, and each episode was going to be an hour long. And then somehow they decided just to make it one big 4-hour movie.
It was worth it.
I do too. I feel like it was worth it too. Like watching the Josh Whedon one, you definitely see like one, like you can't like it was 4 hours, so everyone replot holes. But you could see when he did the reshoots he did were completely unnecessary. Like completely unnecessary. And then I think we get so, especially like for women in particular, but we get so used to sort of seeing things a certain way that we kind of let it slide. When I rewatched Josh Whedon's just so I could have like, because I remember watching it once and I was like, ugh, I hate this movie. Like I hate it. So
it wasn't good. It
was not enjoyable. But then you start to realize sometimes you don't enjoy stuff. It's because of that subliminal stuff. It's not really subliminal. It's subliminal. It's right in your face. But because of those things that you continue to see, you get annoyed with. And I feel like in Zack Snyder's Wonder Woman was such a complete character. And Cyborg was such a complete character. He did them dirty in the Josh Whedon version. He did them dirty. Like, I remember like there was one scene and they kept showing it in the commercial and I was like, ugh, that's just stupid. Where the Flash fell on Wonder Woman and was like laying her boobs and stuff, and it's just like,
oh yeah,
they reshot that. He made them shoot that. It's disgusting. And then
the scene when she was talking to Batman and Flash
when they showed up in the plane
and they kept showing her butt.
It literally there was a whole angle. It was like Josh Whedon was just on her butt, and it showed them standing behind her, and I was just like disrespectful. But you get so used to seeing women portrayed that way, you kind of like
glaze over.
You kind of glaze over, but then you watch it in comparison with something that's like it's the same movie, but it's completely different.
But it's not right.
Yeah, and like he did Cyborg real dirty.
He cut that man's backstory.
He cut him all out. Like he was basically nothing in the first one.
Yeah, I appreciated that. Now, yeah, it was just too long. I would have to go back and be able to catch every nuance of the movie. But even Batman, I like Batman better as a character, and this guy as Batman just did nothing for me. Ben Affleck doesn't excite me as
Ben Affleck as Batman was the worst Batman mistake ever.
Yeah, but it was better. I mean, my favorite is Michael Keaton, so I'm biased, but it was a better movie altogether.
I'm sorry.
Christian Bale Batman.
The Dark Knight gets my vote.
That's fine. We can agree to disagree, and I like Christian Bale, but
we all hate Val.
For me, was just
we all hate Val Kilmer as Batman, right? Everyone agrees that Val Kilmer.
What I mean, let's just forget that. Just keep him. He's Doc Holliday. And I love him forever.
He'll always be Doc Holliday. I love Doc Holliday.
I mean,
but yeah, I thought it was good. Now, one part I didn't like because I tried to just catch little things to talk about. My issue with the Flash and this car accident and this girl facing imminent doom. Why was she so calm and serene as she was about to die? Why was there not a look of
she had desirable, okay? She had a desirable for him. So,
all right.
I mean,
but I liked it.
I mean, because it went too fast for her to even realize that she was about to die.
All right.
I'm glad. Like for me, like it was the 4 hours went by fast. 2 hours in, I was like, oh my god, we have to put the baby down for bed. And I was like, I just realized that we had to stop halfway through. But I enjoyed it. It was beautifully done, shot beautifully. I feel like it definitely...
Yeah, the CGI was much, much better to me.
So much better. And the story just made so much more sense. Like, it all made more sense. Like,
and Steppenwolf looked 1,000 times more.
He was so much better.
He was so... Like, because you're like, oh, now, because when you lost, like, even like when they went down to Atlantis or whatever, he went to get the mother box from them. In the first one, I was like, why is there only 2 people guarding this measure? This don't make any kind of sense. And then the way he beat I forgot her name already, but beat the girl, like, he just smacked her, and that was it. Like, in the second one, it was like, you could see there was a whole story explaining why they weren't guarded, explained why, like, and she fought him, yo.
She did.
She fought him. And even the fight with the Amazonians, like, when they were fighting,
that was bad. That was...
Yo, like...
I love... I mean, I know y'all gonna lose, but that's all right.
Yo, they were... And then even when, like, the whole building collapsed, and it was just like... I was like, oh my god, they all died! And I was like, you know what? It's like the fact they found so many strong women, I think the boss is awake. So many strong women. Like, seeing all such shit, I was like, yo, like, they were all ripped. Like, when the thing was falling down, the girls were like catching it. You see like 20,000 muscles in their stomach and all these muscles.
I'm gonna tell you why they were the way they were. Because we are the originators. They couldn't have those women looking like that in Wakanda and then come back and shoot this and they were weak. They couldn't do that. Yeah. They had to look the part.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just because I'm a Marvel fan. I had to throw some salt in the game somewhere. It didn't even make sense, but that's how I feel.
Well, I do like the fact that they've mixed it up too with more. You see a lot more ranges of color of the women in the group. I would like to see a little bit more, women of color as leaders, like, cause But it's definitely like seeing all these different women and them being so strong, and they're like, he almost lost. They just about had him
Mm-hmm.
tons, like out of everyone that fought him. So, but I definitely feel like it was I really enjoyed the Zack Snyder. I would watch it again, and I'm not a DC fan.
Yeah, I'm not. But those fight scenes were 1,000 times better than any fight scenes I've seen in DC movies.
It was definitely a lot in the story. But they could have, if they really wanted to, they could have just made it a 2-part film. I would have, like in theaters, like the way they games they made, like they probably would have reinvigorated the franchise if they did it that way, instead of Josh Whedon, the hack, come in, reshoot a bunch of stuff, and then just toss out what. I mean, in comparison, it's just hot garbage.
Well, I mean, and this had to be amazing because $70 million is for a remake. Well, not even a remake. It's a lot of money.
All that stuff that he didn't have. Those are all the things that he shot originally. So it's like the fact that he went in there and basically changed the story and reshoot stuff. Like that's when you start to realize that directors have a lot more power. Like to change a whole narrative, to change the film. So even you brought him, like to me, it's like he was really came in just to wrap stuff up, and he's like, you know what? Let's scrap this story.
Yeah, he's like that. Yeah, scrap everything. Yep.
So, and they certainly after rewatching and seeing what he cut out, it certainly validates the issues that people had on set, with him. Because why would you do that? Why would you cut out Cyborg almost completely? Like he had like no story. He had no story. Like even the kid didn't even really have much of a story either. The Flash didn't have much of a story either originally. It was just like they were just there.
He cut a lot out.
Cut a lot out. And I understand.
Yeah, but don't cut important stuff out.
Yeah.
So. Well, I mean, it wasn't important to him.
No, it clearly wasn't. And it didn't create what's going to come next? After you watch the first one, like, but this one definitely left a lot of doors open for for future movies and future stories and even future like there was a whole I forgot his name. The guy who's there was a comic book character named Adam, and they had introduced one of the scientists in Zack Snyder's version, and his intention was to create a whole separate separate film for him and have a spinoff, but they cut him out of the Josh Whedon, so that came out. So hopefully this has reinvigorated everything, and so it's like, okay, now let's just give Zack Snyder, whatever he wants.
I read a lot of comments from a lot of people who really would watch it again or did watch it 2 or 3 times. I'm like, I don't have that 12 hours in a day to be able to do that.
But hopefully that gives them motivation for something else, something new. Like
hopefully it's 2.5 hours, perhaps.
Yes, 2.5 hours would be better. But they could have just cut it in 2 and made 2 movies. That would have been fine too. Mm-hmm. So I think I hear the boss.
Boss definitely will.
Tell boss I said hello.
We will. He'll probably be concerned about what we were doing down here. Mm-hmm. But thank you so much, Brandy, for joining us and the awesome conversation. I definitely feel like we need to do one episode that just talks about Black parenting.
Yeah, it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot of different styles, and some of them are right for people, some of them are wrong. Some are just wrong. But you have to get to the root of why these things are what they are, and hopefully people going forward will try to break some of these generational curses that plague us all.
Yes, definitely. So I'm gonna eat some more. This is really good.
All right. Well, you enjoy it, and thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We love you.
I love you too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Oh, actually, no. So we are going on to spring break.
All right. We're having our own little spring break.
So we're having our own little spring break. Not going down to Florida. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Remember to go visit our YouTube page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can rewatch all of our previous 7, because this is episode 7, right? All 7 episodes on YouTube.
So we'll be gone for 2 weeks?
We actually will be going for 3 weeks. So we would join you guys again on April 18th.
All right. So in the meantime, what we'll be doing is each week we'll be uploading an old throwback of one of my podcasts up for you guys to enjoy. But thank you so much for joining us for brunch.
Thank you.
I am Gina.
I'm Jared.
Love you. Have a great day.